And welcome to the Milo Beasley Show, episode number 128.
Fuck my weight, 128.
Yeah, right there. A plus, at least.
Yeah.
At least, that's what they say. My guest this week, Todd Rogers. How you doing,
128 big graphics from 64 and upgrade and double it.
How many little video game one-liners you going to throw in?
So you're usually wrestling. What are you doing in this gaming universe
That's
now?
a great question. I seem to be everywhere. I try to be everywhere, right?
Like the Flash. Poof, poof, poof. He immerses himself in everything. See, the viewers should appreciate things like this. Like the people over there, you got to make fun of the host, see how he cracks under pressure, and then work with him. It's a perfect thing.
Please try me. So yeah, we're here at the Free Play Florida event.
So you got to think about it. Doesn't even know what event he's at.
I don't even know.
So many events.
I'm all over the place. I don't even know.
Free Play Florida. That's right. He was correct.
Correct. Sometimes I get things correct. Sometimes I mess up people's names.
He's cracking under pressure. I see his eyes are blinking. He's blushing. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Here in Orlando. And what are you doing here at the event?
Oh, I'm just playing a few games that people want to see me excel at. They play a game, they'll get to a certain degree of level of gameplay, and then they'll have me play a game specifically that I really I'm good at, like the Kaboom out there, or I'll do a speaker panel about games that I'm good at, like specifically the Dragster, which I've held for since 1980.
How many world records do you actually have?
Somewhere over 2,000, about 2,040-ish.
But not all those are like official Twin Galaxy.
There is a long story behind that. Let me clarify. I had submitted a real lot of amount of games to a specific referee, and he was unable to either input them to the database due to his personal life and other things that were involving. All I can say is the Maricopa County Police Department has all of his videotapes. So that included every gaming submission that anyone entered. So most of those were lost.
So too bad it's not like now where everybody has a cell phone, everybody has everything, and you could just videotape everything.
Well, I did my Journey Escape submission. It was 85 hours on 14 video cassettes. And some moron on the forum goes, and God, I hope I shouldn't call him a moron, some gaming enthusiast.
Some bro.
Moron. And he goes, well, why didn't you videotape yourself? Videotape it. I'm like, you're going to buy 28 tapes, You got to do the math and think you have a video cassette with 6 hours, and I think and I originally went in it. I was not going to do a world record attempt. I just wanted to do a personal best first, break my highest score, then see how long I could play, and then there was a number of factors as the game developed that I wanted to do. What happens after 100 million? How long can I really play a game for? Because I've marathon 67 games over a 24-hour time frame.
Don't you get tired?
Everybody gets tired. I passed out when I did my 85 hours. There's a gamer that played Hubert for 85 hours, but the difference between him and my gameplay is he went by the Guinness ruling where they allow you 5 minutes every hour, and he bankrolled 9 hours, and that would be equivalent to 45 minutes of nap time. And he'll play a game, take a nap, play a game, take a nap, and I'll play straight through. I think that if you take the nap, you get more fatigued, your focus isn't. Plus, he plays games that enable you to take naps where you build up your men, like on Nibbler or on Hubert or anything else like that. I play games where you don't get extra men. You die, like with Journey Escape on the Atari 2600. Atari implemented a thing where it was called, would prevent image burn. You would sit there for 2 minutes and 50 seconds or longer, you lost your game. It would just freeze up. Sorry, didn't mean to bore the public.
That's kind of like screensavers. Now, skill or talent? Or both? What is it? Is video gaming skill? Is it something that you can be taught? Or is it talent? You are absolutely born with the hand-eye coordination.
I think it's inherent ability. Either you have observation of what you're playing. Not everybody can play every game. I can't play. Everybody can play any game, but they can't play it at an expert level. Even in life, I've always been the person that would never do the same mistake over and over and over redundantly. When you look at a game, it's like a puzzle. You put the pieces together. If the pieces don't fit, you don't put them back in the same spot when they don't fit. It's a logical way of thinking. When you make a puzzle,
Correct.
you keep putting the same puzzle piece in the same spot that don't fit?
No.
You look for a different one that looks like it's supposed to go there. And you put it there because it fits. It's the same thing with gaming. You play a game, you look at the observation of how it's programmed and say, how can I play this better? But then again, like, go like this and tap your fingers really quick and see how fast you can tap them. As fast as you can. So if I was to go sit and go like this, you know, that is ability. I can maybe tap quicker than you or more precise than you, but that does not make me a better game player.
And that's why you are, or you were, I guess, the very first professional video game player. Is that correct?
I still am, I think. I mean, you know.
Well, I mean, you're not.
Yeah, no, true.
You're not the only, but you were the
true.
first.
I am the first paid professional gamer, only because, and I use that phrase because I worked for 42 software publishers from 1980 to 1993. You know, there are other people out there that would say that there are other people before me that made money. But that if they worked for one company and they only worked 1 year, how's that really working? You know, you did a promotion,
right.
You know, where I worked for Nintendo, I worked for Sega, I worked for Atari, I worked for Acclaim, you know, and Nintendo, and 42 publishers that would say, hey, look, we want you to come up. I played against Michael Jordan, Chuck Norris, Robert Culp, Barbie Madden.
Did you beat Chuck Norris? Nobody.
There's no celebrity that I ever lost to. Nope. If you ever see the documentary Nintendo Quest, get a chance to watch it. In the video,
the one man to beat Chuck Norris.
I did, and it was on a game called Chuck Norris Super Kicks. Publisher was Zonix. It was a double-ended cartridge. Are we taking too much footage up here? You're like behind the camera. This is edited footage. I'm sorry, but yeah, I played Chuck. He was a great guy, by the way. Bruce Jenner, when I played him against Decathlon, he had this look like I was ringing him. He's like, "You show me how to play the game," and oh hey, I returned the HDMI cable, by the way. Sorry, didn't mean. You can edit and do croppage, but when I played Bruce Jenner, he looked like, hey, wait a minute, you played this before? I'm like, no, I didn't. I offer $1,000 to anybody who gets below 10 seconds in Decathlon's 100-meter dash. The unique thing is I don't have a pen or pencil, but I'll use my finger as an example. Most people will hold a joystick between your thumb and first finger and flick it back and forth. Well, I'll do the Spock move where I'll put the joystick between the fingers and I'll go back and forth. And you're isolating the movement because there's less of a reaction to go back and forth. It's like a pendulum on a clock.
I can't even do that, so I'm out automatically.
Just take your fingers together, it'll be fine.
I'm not really good at the Vader time.
Yeah, Vader.
Yeah,
Leon
Vader.
White, is that was the?
Yeah. I'm obviously a big Vader guy and not a.
I'm not endorsing the drink, by the way.
I'm not a Trekkie. Are you a Trekkie?
They decided to pay me. Yeah, absolutely.
Star Wars for Star Trek.
Star.
Star. Just star everything. Star everything.
I like both. I would probably say Star Trek only because I'm older. You know, Star Wars came out in '77. Star Trek came out in '66. So I got weaned on Star Trek first. But I'm not taking anything from the Star Wars people. I do like both avenues of entertainment, each program.
I want to talk about recent events, and that is the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series. You're from Chicago, correct?
Absolutely.
Are you a Cubs fan?
I'm a Cubs fan.
I was just going to make sure that you weren't.
And the viewers are going to hate me, and certain members of my family will hate me that I attended Sox games when I lived in Chicago.
It happens.
Yeah,
everybody falls on the wrong side of the tracks.
I'm a diehard Cubs fan, but never really had the opportunity to go to a Cubs game. Ironically, the people I was hanging out with back then, they had privileges to get into the Sox games cheaply, where they had VIP passes.
That still happens, I'm pretty sure.
So I'm a guest, but I went to when I saw Sox games.
Yeah, it happens. I mean,
lived here for 25 years, so it was fun.
Some people smoke, some people drink, some people attend Sox games.
Some people sleep or play video games.
And so, and then not only video games, but into a large portion of my demographic, you were also involved in professional wrestling.
Absolutely. Well, that was weird how that happened, because I started watching wrestling in 1968, and I got weaned on a lot of the old classic wrestlers, Wilbur Snyder, Bobo Brazil, the Bruiser, the Crusher. Living in Chicago, it was a hub for wrestling, and you got to meet a lot of unusual people like Ox Baker and the Baron Van Raschke's, and names that the viewers probably don't remember or do remember going to wrestling events that have people signing autographs. So I started watching wrestling in '68, and then I saw Andre the Giant and said, wow, this guy's enormous. How can you beat someone as big as a grizzly bear? You see him pick people like Afa, Sika, a 300-pound guy, and grab him by his tights with, and they're laying flat on their back, and he picks them up with one arm like a luggage bag, and I'm going, I'd never really make it. But then when I had the opportunity, when I met Paul Christie, he worked for the AWA, and I thought to myself, well, hell, how hard could it be to get into professional wrestling? I already kickbox. I'm in relatively good shape. Not really massive like the wrestlers you see today by far. I was 190 pounds and benched 460. And, it's a good bench for your weight, but when you look at a wrestler like Hulk Hogan, you're going, oh my God, you know, this guy's enormous.
Right.
How would you even think about tackling someone that large? But anyways, to make a long story short, Paul Christie said $3,000, I'll train you and book you for your first match, then you're on your own. And I'm like, wow, that's sort of a kick you on the butt after taking my money, you know.
Yeah, that's the old school style of
and then
training.
In 2010, I was able to purchase with a couple of other people the ACW, American Combat Wrestling, an independent wrestling organization that cultivates up-and-coming wrestlers to make the name for themselves in the big-time league.
Are you still interested in working with independent wrestling here in Florida? Or
I
is
love
that
wrestling.
something
I would. Kyle Blizzard had offered me a position to work with his organization, and I like Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
He's confrontive. He's not a hard-nosed person to work with. I think if I was,
and he wears jeans to weddings.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, he wants to be comfortable. It's his appearance. The appearance alone is what makes the person. He's showing enough, contortions to be there. Yeah, I would like to. At that particular period of time when I purchased the company, my mom's health was declining, and I was attending so many gaming events that it was really hard for me to concentrate on the wrestling, the gaming, and my personal life.
Yeah, because you're probably busy doing these types of gaming events.
Or contests. Like recently, I would play an event. Any event, and I'd say, okay, we're going to play this game blindfolded. If you beat me, you'll make $100. If you don't, you have to bring in a can of food to feed the homeless, or $1, to contribute to the feeding the homeless. Whatever charity might be, blind and deaf, or disabled. I want to work with that one organization. I've sent a few emails out to the Wounded Warriors.
Yes.
And but nothing has. So if they're listening, I would really like to work with that organization and any capacity that I can help them populate some funds that could help people that are
definitely. We can definitely get the word out. I believe. Internet is capable of doing anything, so we will definitely get the word out. Wounded Warriors, Todd Rogers would love to work with you. One thing we like to do here on the Milo Beasley Show is called the Top 5. I'm going to ask a random question. Now, with it being the holiday season at all, top 5 gifts that you wanted as a child but never got. And I'm sorry if this opens up wounds, but top 5 toys or gifts you wanted as a child.
You have to understand now, my birthday is December 1st, so I was always given, you either get a birthday present or a Christmas gift. So asking me a question of top 5, I used to get 50 cents for an allowance, and that was every other week. It wasn't like every week. So, like, I wanted Power Racers, these slot cars that were popular back then. And, $80 and 50 cents every other week. It's a lot of saving up. Yeah, Power Racers I probably would have wanted. I bought one, by the way, years later down. I don't know. I had a lot of toys when I was younger, because when we would go shopping, my brother, I'm the youngest. My older brother's 18 years older than me. My sister's 12 years older than me. I was born 1947, and my sister's born 1952. Sorry, Pam and Ray. And my late brother Scott was born 1960, so he was 4 years older. So when we would go out shopping, my dad pushed the cart, and I hated them damn things. You're sitting in there and moving your legs around, the metal's bugging the hell out of you. And we go like to the Hot Wheels section, and he'd say, okay, pick out what you want and get one. And I'd say, well, one for me, one for Scott. And if he didn't like it, end up with 2 cars, It's great. Perfect thing. That's I had 2 sisters, so that didn't really work for me. Barbie dolls,
I couldn't. Yeah, I'd be like, oh, get the Barbie doll, and if she didn't like it,
Milo Barbie, I'm just kidding.
So before we wrap up, where can folks find you on the social medias if they want to get a hold of you?
They can just Google me, Todd Rogers, and put in gamer. You can find me on Wikipedia and IMDb, International Movie Database, and or Facebook. But make sure you put in gamer after my name, because otherwise you're going to get some guy that plays volleyball.
Plays like beach volleyball or something. Yeah, I did the same thing.
Not a manly sport. No, that's kidding. No offense to the.
I think it's like Jack to the Nines. It was ridiculous. I was like, oh, Todd's gotten in shape.
I prefer a one-on-one sport, man against him. Just throwing the other guy down and showing your strength rather than hitting a ball in the guy's face. But no, I like volleyball. No offense, Todd. The other Todd. Sorry, I'm older than you, so I can I can have that.
You could probably beat him in the video games too.
Absolutely. Well, maybe.
Actually, I do want to ask real quick, your favorite What's your favorite video game, man? What do you like if you have time to just like chill and
I've practiced for this now, so I always say Dragster because I've played it more than any. And people ask how many times, I have no idea because the game is 5 seconds long. You do the math in 34 years, 5 seconds. Robotron on the classic arcade because of its complexity and simplicity. And I say this because anyone can play it. You can play it. The average game isn't going to last more than 5 minutes. Anybody can play it, and every time you play it is a unique, different experience. It's easy enough to anybody can play, but hard enough to where you can't, unless you're really proficient, you're not going to last long.
Did you like Wreck-It Ralph?
I did. I found it a very, very well done movie. I'm thinking, who would I? Because someone had watched Pixels and they were saying, oh well, Dingle Nuts or whatever his name is. Oh, he looks like a short dingleberry. I forget what his dinglage. I'm massacring the guy's name. Sorry, whatever. Maybe if I met the guy, he would go like this. The Billy Mitchell, and then there was some character in there. Someone said that reminded them of me, and I'm like, who would that be? The one character I thought that they probably thought was me. I thought reminded me of Ben Gold, but Wreck-It Ralph I thought was really, really good. And then of course with the guy, I forget the referee guy's name in the movie, but Walter Day.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yay, I'm entertaining.
All right, well, thanks for taking a couple
That was
minutes.
too quick. Come on, do a part 2. These viewers want to know more. They want to hear more. And I know you're out of questions. What if I start asking you questions?
Ask away.
How long have you been in wrestling for? What got you into wrestling? Is there any wrestler that you ever wanted to wrestle?
Oh, there's a lot of wrestlers who I've wanted to wrestle.
You have a show. Go point to the camera and say, I want you. I want to wrestle.
Oh, I'm retired.
Not your wife, but I'm just saying that.
I'm retired.
So is Cars retired. Okay. Mention somebody.
Terry Funk. We'll have a retirement match.
He's probably retired too, but you can have a retirement match.
Finally retire properly, and I can finally retire properly.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, then people ask me if there's any gamer I ever want to go up against. I can't think of any particular game. Justin Wong, Street Fighter.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, I had a referee one of his bouts that was out in California. It was a Street Fighter 4 competition. And he went 300-0, no losses.
What's your favorite Street Fighter?
The first one.
First one?
I use Blanca.
Okay.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter versus Capcom, or like Marvel. Street Fighter versus Marvel. We have at the shelter we have access to this. I don't want to say it's a bootleg shelving unit. We might not, but play a lot of that.
Probably might.
And Windjammers, you're familiar with Windjammers?
Yeah.
The Frisbee game?
Yeah.
That's like the hotness. That's pretty much all we play is Windjammers for the most part. I'm decent, not the best.
Is there any particular game that you've always liked but always wanted to learn how to play because you didn't do it like perfect level?
Man, I'm really not first person shooters. When it comes to like the new stuff, I just horrible at them. Absolutely horrible.
And why would you think it's horrible? Because of just the way your mind works?
I just die a lot more than I survive, so I'm...
What he's saying is he's too anxious. He plays the game and then makes a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
if he sat back, it was more
balls
passive.
out and run out. And,
if you're going to make money and you want to make money at a game and someone's going to sponsor you, you have to be analytical about it. Rather than just, he's playing for the experience, and that's good.
Pretty much.
Most people do. Is there any specific video game player that you'd ever want to meet?
That I'd ever want to meet.
Or have the chance to play against?
To play against
Todd Rogers.
I think that Todd Rogers guy would
No, really.
be,
Other than me.
probably, I guess, Billy, right? He's the king of the Kongs.
So what are your thoughts on him now that you've met him and he's enormous?
He's giant.
7'2", 7'3"-ish. Has the 7-inch the helmet.
Right?
On,
and it never moves. How is that possible?
2 hours of perfect manicurisms.
Maybe I should try that. I could maybe that way if I'm instead of being billed as.
Can you imagine the hat that they'd have to make for him to put over the?
Instead of being
Rastaman hat.
billed as my.
Hold the camera steady because I know know you're going to laugh.
My profile being 5'11", if I did that, I could be like 6'5", 6'4".
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I would tell you a trick in how he always looks taller in pictures, but I think he might get mad. But if you look at pictures with him standing next to people, he's always taller, even if you're 7
Does he
foot.
tippy toe?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's another technique, but it works. It's very effective. After I heard it, I'm like, wow, I wish I would have thought of that. I'm always the runt.
Yeah.
I always had to do one of these things or something to look halfway big.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with wrestlers being 5'11", it's not short, but I'm not.
What year was your first match?
1998. October 30th, 1998. So I just celebrated the 18th anniversary.
And who was the most impressive wrestler you wrestled?
Until this point, as far as star power or just in the ring ability?
Ring ability.
Ring ability. I would have to say being in the ring with, just doing stuff with Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan.
Oh, yeah.
That guy is just, it's unfortunate that his career had to stop short, but is God?
They're telling us to shut up, but I'm Todd Rogers, I can speak. Now, you say when you wrestled him, did you learn anything from his inherent ability? Did you amateur wrestle at all before?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't amateur wrestler.
I did, so I had that edge on people because learning how to disable somebody using pressure points and using maneuvers that they weren't familiar with, there's a huge difference between amateur wrestling and professional wrestling. But professional wrestling, you have to be very wary of the person you're wrestling so you don't do bodily harm. I'm not trying to crash any kind of comparative, but when I'm amateur wrestling, you're going down. I don't care how I'm going to put you there to the mat. Where when you're working and you have to be conscious about not actually maiming somebody that you're in front of 20,000 people. It's just we saw you. We got you on tape.
There's a big difference. We had while I was training and something I carried on to when I was training folks was we would spend days doing catch wrestling or shoot wrestling, half shoots, basically without throwing punches.
Yeah.
But trying to make guys submit, trying to choke them out, trying to do submissions and stuff. Basically a lot of catch wrestling. So we did do a lot of that, and I learned a lot just doing like on-the-job training. That and a lot of guys were bigger than me, so I had to figure out how to
improvise. Have you ever thought of becoming a manager if your wrestling didn't turn out?
I have managed, and I've managed a lot of folks, for FIP. I could name names, but it would seem like a name dropper because it's literally a who's who.
Why not name drop?
Oh, well, I'm just trying to be.
How are we looking on
I'm trying to be a little bit
battery and the foot? Okay, because I know you were getting ready to close, and I revamped the viewers.
Well, there's only when you're talking about YouTube videos, there's only like a certain time that people will dedicate to
before they get bored.
Before they get bored.
Right.
And I try to maybe time stuff around the 10 to 12, 15 minute range before folks get.
So the question is to the
viewers, is it that I'm
the
boring?
question is to the viewers is which wrestler would you want to see him wrestle and which wrestler would you want to see me wrestle? So we want your suggestions. We want you to vote or even have us team up against any particular two wrestlers. See, I don't care. I'll say any two because I'm not afraid of anybody. Where you might be like,
I would like to see you wrestle Simon Says.
Who, me?
Yes.
No, he's like family. I can't do that.
That's why I would want to see it.
I can't do that.
That's why I would want to see it.
We have to team up.
I would, a dream match of mine would be Chris Hero. Are you familiar with Chris Hero?
Unless he's a baby face.
He's like a bigger version of me.
I would be always the heel. I'm the bad guy.
Simons can go both ways. He's a tweener.
No, I can't. Sorry. Anybody other than Simon Says if he changed his name maybe or wore a mask or something. I don't know.
I see you versus Colin Bauman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he watch your show?
He does. He's been a guest on my show before.
There you go.
All right. We'll see if we can get that lined up.
Or who's the Razor Ramon? Get him in the ring and
Scott Hall.
Larry Zbyszko.
Larry Zbyszko. I've wrestled Larry Zbyszko. I wrestled him while I had a broken foot.
I'm just trying to get people that are in the same weight category because if I picked him somebody too small, they're going to say you had a decisive edge like Lesnar when he comes in there and he was tossing around Mark Hunt. I'm like, I want to see how much he picks. Mark Hunt's a stout, strong guy, and he just goes.
Brock Lesnar is the scariest human being on the face of this earth.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I would not want to be I don't know if I'd want to be in a building if he was mad at me.
I would issue a lot of challenges, but I think I'd be reservationable about
Lesnar. If we're talking about the money that folks used to make for Mike Tyson fights, those guys, maybe I consider it, but those hospital bills, they rack up.
Huh. And then off the wrestling, let's talk about gaming. What games would you like to see us play live? And to either max or throw out a specific score that either one of us that we might make an attempt at doing.
That's a good one.
Well, I'm just thinking outside the box here, trying to get stimulus of your audience.
You prefer? Do you prefer like shelf games, or do you prefer are you good at pinball? Because there's a lot of pinball.
I like pinball. I really do. I'm wishy-washy. I'm either really good or horrible.
Yeah.
I have 76 gaming systems at my house and 11,000 games I own for arcade games.
So I mean, obviously, arcades pinball can change, but there's always they change it to different genres, movies.
I'll tell you what I do when I think I'm losing to an opponent. I'll like lean into the game and I'll shove my knee under the front part of the cabinet and slide my knee under so it lifts the front of the pinball table so it's more leveled. And I shouldn't be saying these
If
things.
you're not cheating, you ain't trying.
Film this guy here. Turn the camera. This guy's going to put a hold on me that he says no one has gotten out of. I'm putting you on the spot now.
Can we do that on camera? That's kind of creepy.
You got the dog all excited. But okay, well, yeah, thank you for watching. I know I've talked way too long and you're probably bored as hell, and this will probably be a 3-segment part. I'm used to that.
So this has been episode number 128, maybe 128B. We'll see. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I know you're busy
Thank you
here.
for having me.
Running around like crazy. Everybody
We
wants
got
to
a
talk to
tag
you.
team, so you guys out there, put some submissions down there who you want to see us to go against.
Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
Yay, I'm entertaining.